Hey guys, I'm Ian McMinn and this is Path to I Am. Today I want to talk about the wonderful joy that unfolds for you. The wonderful joy that unfolds for you. So, as I've been talking about a lot lately, when you care about how you feel more than anything else, you get really good at creating upward emotional momentum where you're guiding yourself consistently up the emotional scale from wherever you are at any given moment. And then three, you get to start experiencing more and more consistent joy. And this is really where it's at. Because when I'm getting to be in joy, I am fully in alignment with my inner being. And I get guidance in my life better than any that I could get from an outside source, from anyone else. It's where I'm getting to show up as my true self, but I'm getting that perfect inner beacon in every moment that's not just leading me to the bigger things in my life, but it's leading me moment to moment through all the little delicious moments that make up life, right? Most of them are mundane. It leads me through all those things. Or in other words, another good way to put it, joy is the indicator that I'm in full alignment. And whenever I'm not in joy, that's an indicator that I'm not. And that's great. I get that feedback by caring about how I feel and moving up the scale. And then I get to return. But just the stuff that I've gotten to experience, it doesn't mean I don't have resistance on my trail, right? When I'm in joy, I'm in my path of least resistance. But there's still some. So I get to go through a journey where I drop more and more of that and experience more and more of what's a match to me. But the things that you get given, the experiences, it's impossible to explain. You just have to live it. You just have to go through the wonderful joy that unfolds for you when you cultivate it within. In other words, when you go general, when you're in a negative state, as I've talked about with your focus, you need to go big picture because that's how you drop that resistance and you float up into a positive state. And then when you go positive, that's when you can go from general to specific again with your focus, focusing on what's really feeling good. Because yet again, when you're in joy, guys, whatever your gut impulse is the right impulse. Whatever you're thinking is the ideal thought. Somebody asked last week in the comments, Ian, how do you create, what's the process for caring about what you're thinking and directing your focus towards what you really want in your life? It is really to just get in that joyful state, and whatever you're thinking in your joyful state is the thought to think, right? So whatever thoughts you're thinking from joy, whatever actions you're taking from joy, from genuine positive inspiration, whatever you're doing and not doing is totally perfect for who you are, because in other words, you are the path, as a teacher called Bashar says. You are the path. So when you're in joy, you're fully embodying being your own path. And so that's why when I coach people, I coach them into joy. And then they take it from there, right? So I help cultivate that consistent joy because that's where your invincibility is. That's where your true guidance is. Our cat Molly wants in. I'll let her in a second. But that's where it's at, guys. Your inner being, we talk about as one way to think about it. We could call your inner being your higher mind as well, but the vast majority of who you are is actually in non-physical. And so that's why when you're in joy, you feel so much more expansive than when you're not. Because when you're not, you're, to a certain degree, you're never fully disconnected from all that you are, but you are more disconnected, or you're experiencing more disconnection when you're not in joy. And when you're in joy, You experience that full totality of who you are, and you get that, just the guidance through your impulses, through your thoughts, through your feelings about things. And you cannot logic your way or engineer your way into the experiences that your inner being is ready to guide you to, because your inner being knows more about you than you ever could. So that's why being in joy is so crucial. It's your only job. That's the only thing I say before you do anything else. Guide yourself up the emotional scale into joy. Whenever you're not in it, just pause your life, or slow down as much as you can at least, and guide yourself back up that scale. Because when you're not in it, you're creating discord and chaos and messiness, and that's okay. But when you're creating those things, notice how when something shows up and it's chaotic, notice how it corresponds to how you feel, and let that be an additional indicator. Really, the main indicator though is your emotions, but let the reflections that show up be the thing that goes, oh right, I saw that video that Ian talked about the other day. Let me stop, let me reorient, let me move up that scale by going general in the negative and specific in the positive, and boom, I'm back in joy again. And milk it, ride that joyful wave. Because as I say, the more joy, more time you spend in joy, the easier it is to be in joy, the harder it is to not be in joy. In other words, you may slip out, right, of joy, but you have so much positive momentum that it's not very long before you shift back up the scale, right? So the wonderful, joyful unfoldings for you, you just need to do it for 30 days. Just prioritize this for 30 days. And there may not be, oh my God, I won the lotto or this or that. I'm not, that's not necessarily how things go in life always. It can go that way. But after 30 days, notice how much better you feel, and notice all the little magical things that just fill your day, right? Pay attention to, it's just about the little stuff. What's the big stuff? It's just the little stuff that compiles, right? It's the moment to moment. It's the steady stream of experiences that you really want. It's the steady stream of flowing experience that is what you really want. It's not the big this or the big that. That's part of it. But it's just one of the many drops in the ocean of your experience, that when you're in joy, you have flow to you and flow to you and flow to you, okay? It's why it's the only thing I care to coach on. Because it just, I could give you some strategy or some BS to make you feel better for your logical mind, but when you care about how you feel more than anything else, you master having a ton of upward emotional momentum all the time, you end up mastering getting to live in joy almost all the time. And the better it gets, the more momentum you build on this, the better. So this is the joyful, wonderful unfolding of experiences you get to do if you start to practice this now. And if you have been great, this is confirmation that you're doing the right thing. Just keep on going. And when you're in joy, trust yourself. When you're not in joy, pause everything. Don't trust your gut impulses when you're not in joy, other than to stop and reset, right? Because that's, for me, that is what has made all the difference. Things happen when I'm in joy that do not happen when I'm not, right? That are positive, that are life affirming, that are fantastic. And more than anything, when you're in joy, you feel joy. That's the main event. Whatever reflections show up are great, but they're secondary. The main event is how you feel, and that's your guiding light. That's your alignment, okay? So anyway, guys, I'm Ian McMinn. This is Path to I Am. I hope you enjoyed this. If you need to contact me, or you want us, for coaching, or you want to sign up for my retreat email list, go to mcminnconsulting.com. You'll see that link in my bio. The clickable link is now in there. I don't know how I didn't have a clickable link, but that's in there, and it's also in the description. You have to copy and paste it from the video description. But McMinn, McMinn, consulting.com. You can reach out to me there, or sign up for the email list, or just kind of see what I have going on. It's where all the good stuff is. So anyway, guys, I love you. I think you're awesome, and I'll see you on the next one.